are bound for the promised land.
May 14th, 1820, Sturbridge, Massachusetts. This has been one of the most exciting days of my life. We are going to move all the way to the new state of Illinois. It all started this morning when my friend David Hastings and I went to the general store. We wanted to look at some new knives that had just come in. But we soon forgot about the knives because Mr. Grant, the storekeeper, had a letter from my father. It was from my Uncle George, who moved to Illinois last year. I took the letter and ran all the way to the grist mill. Father was helping Mr. Wright, the miller, grind corn. They were very excited about the letter, for it was the first time we had heard from Uncle George since he left Massachusetts about a year ago. He wrote to Father because the new village where he lives needs a miller. The villagers are offering a mill, a house, and 80 acres of land to Father if he can come by September. It means having his own mill, a new house for Mother, a farm for Jonathan when he grows up, and perhaps some land for Martha, and I can learn to be a miller. It is everything Father has always wanted. He has decided to write to Uncle George, and with God's help, to move to New Bolton, Illinois. May 16th. Today we began making ready for the long journey. We won't need many of our own things because there will be a new house and some furniture waiting for us in New Bolton. Father has decided that our farm cart and oxen can carry everything we really need. He gave me the job of getting the cart repaired and the oxen shod for the trip. While I was at Mr. Wilder's blacksmith shop, David came to hear more about the journey. By now, everybody knows about our leaving. David was really surprised when I told him we would have to travel more than 1,000 miles over the mountains to our new home. While I was at the blacksmith's, Father was laying out the tools and other things we will need on the trip and later in Illinois. He is taking his miller's tools, an extra ox yoke, a grain cradle, a hoe, some woodworking tools, 2 broad axes, a plow, and a hand axe. He also is taking seed corn, wheat, and oats for planting our new farm. Mother and Martha are packing the other things we will need. It is hard for Mother to decide what to take and what to leave, and some of her favorites must be left behind. After she packs the clothes, bedding, books, and cooking utensils, she hopes to have time to make Martha and me new clothes for the trip. May 20th. Today, Father borrowed an atlas from Mr. Grant. It shows several of the roads going west. We will take the turnpike to New York City, go through the Delaware Water Gap, and travel westward through the mountains on the Pennsylvania State Road and take Zane Strait into Ohio. We could go by a northern route through the Mohawk Valley. Father says farther south, many people go through Baltimore to the National Road and on to Wheeling, or take one of the southern roads which lead through the Cumberland Gap and westward on the Wilderness Trail. June 3rd. The wagon was ready today, and the neighbors came over to help us load. Father thinks Mother is taking too many things, but he has promised to try to load them all. We leave tomorrow morning. David and I took a little time to say goodbye. We traded knives, and he promised that when he was older, he would come to Illinois too. But 1,000 miles is very far away. June 4th, first day of our journey. This morning we said our last goodbyes to friends and neighbors. Father was anxious to leave because he wanted to spend the night at Aunt Jane's. The road south is the route of the Boston to New York stagecoach. It was a very good road, and we traveled the 15 miles to Aunt Jane's house before sunset.
Goodbye to New England's happy home, farewell to loved ones dear. 15 miles a day we travel on to a land so far from here.
June 13th, 10th day of our journey. Tonight we are staying at Bump Tavern. It is a stopping place for the New York stagecoach. We could go by stagecoach to Pittsburgh, but it would cost more than $200. Father didn't receive this much money from selling our farm in New England. It would be wonderful to go by stage. It would take only 10 days. The inn has food and rooms for travelers, but everything is very expensive. Tonight we are sleeping on the floor in the main room on our own bedding. It costs only a few cents. Many other travelers will sleep here too, but at least there's a roof over our heads.
We sleep in inns, we sleep in barns, as through town and country we press. We ferry rivers, ford the streams, toward the mountains in the west.
June 19th, 16th day of our journey. Today we passed through the Delaware Water Gap. The mountains were high on both sides of us, but we were able to get through by following the river valley. We have traveled no more than 12 miles a day for the past week. The roads are poor and the mountains are steep. If it were not for the Delaware Water Gap, it would take us days longer to cross these mountains, and Father says there are still higher mountains to the west.
Up mountain slopes, through valleys deep, we slowly wind our way. Along the deep-rutted wagon trails, we move westward day by day.
June 24th, 21st day of our journey. It has been raining for 3 days, and we have had to stop many times. The oxen move slowly on the slippery mountain roads. With all the rain and mud, it has been hard to build a fire, and we are eating smoked meat and parched corn.
Through rain and mud and flooded stream, we push both day and night. 8 miles a day we struggle on, till the toll house comes in sight.
July 4th, the 31st day. The rains have stopped, and today we reached the first toll house on the turnpike to Pittsburgh. The roads are better now, for they are covered with hard-packed stones and gravel, and are kept in repair. About every 10 miles, we have to pay a toll to travel on the turnpike. We have to pay 4 cents for our cart and oxen. The price is according to the kind of wagon and the number of animals the traveler has. The money is used to repair the road and to build bridges and corduroy sections of the road. These corduroy roads are built over marshy spots, and some of them are several miles long. They are made of logs, laid crosswise in the road, to keep the wheels from becoming stuck in the mud. Because corduroy roads are not very comfortable to ride on, Mother usually walks.
On the turnpike road we travel west, 15 miles a day. The sun is hot, the weather's dry in Pennsylvania.
July 11th, the 38th day. The weather has been fair, but very hot. We are eating and sleeping beside the road at night. Today, Father shot 3 rabbits and 2 turkeys to give us a fresh supply of meat. We have heard bears and wildcats during the night, but they do not come near our campfire. The cold waters of the mountain streams wake us up quickly, and we try to start in the road just after sunrise. We see many people going west on the turnpike. This morning we talked with a family who had arrived from Ireland a few weeks ago. They are going to Ohio and are pulling all of their belongings in a little cart. Other families have large wagons, pulled by horses or oxen, and some ride horseback. Father says we'll never reach Illinois in time to open the mill and start grinding this year's corn if we go by land all the way. He has decided to sell the oxen and cart in Pittsburgh and go down the Ohio River. As we get closer to Pittsburgh, we see many large freight wagons taking farm products back east to Philadelphia. Some of these wagons are almost 30 feet long and are pulled by 6-horse teams.
Some travel east, some travel west, on horseback or stage they roam. We travel to the Ohio, down that river to our new home.
July 20th, the 47th day of our journey. After spending 2 days in Pittsburgh, Father was able to sell our oxen and cart for $50. Now he has money to buy passage for us to Illinois on a flatboat headed for New Orleans. And there will be enough left over to buy supplies for the first winter in our new home. For the next 20 days, we will eat and sleep on the flatboat as it drifts down the Ohio River. Father has sent word to Uncle George asking him to meet us with his wagon near Shawneetown, Illinois.
The river is up, the channel is deep, and the waves go steady and strong. As we go along, as we go along, as we go drifting along. Down the river, oh, down the river, oh, down the river we go. Down the river, oh, down the river, oh, down the Ohio.
August 11th, 69th day of our journey. Yesterday evening, Uncle George found us on the bank of Smallpox Creek near Shawneetown. This morning we loaded our belongings and started on a 60-mile trip through Illinois to New Bolton. The roads are narrow and rough. Even with Uncle George's team of strong oxen, it will take us almost a week to reach our new home.
10 weeks ago we left our home bound for the promised land. We have traveled far to Illinois, we have reached our promised land.
August 18th, 1820, the end of our journey. Today, 78 days after we left Sturbridge, Massachusetts, we arrived in New Bolton, Illinois. We were met by many of Uncle George's friends who will be our new neighbors. They took us to our house. The village has about 20 families. There is a general store and a blacksmith shop. Also a school is being built. Aunt Susan and the ladies had made the house ready for Mother. She is very pleased with our new home. Father went straight to the mill with Uncle George and some of the men. It will take time and hard work to get it started. Father plans to begin first thing tomorrow morning. I met John Buckley and his younger brother James. John is just my age. He reminds me of my friend David Hastings back in Massachusetts. I think we may become good friends. Tomorrow, he is going to show me his secret cave. I can hardly wait.
Then move your family westward, good health you will enjoy, and rise to wealth and honor in the state of Illinois.